What is up, guys? Welcome back to the video. It's always a huge thanks for coming back. We really appreciate you. So today we got another pretty exciting video. We're actually going to be doing a walk around review of one of my bucket list trucks for more than one reason. I'm actually super excited to get this truck in the shop and for everything that we're going to be doing to it. So you know what? Let's jump right into it. And I don't even know where to start with this thing. It is not an F-350, believe it or not. It's an F-superduty. There's actually still a lot of people that don't know what an F-superduty is. It's a real truck. That's not a fake badge. This is not an F-250. It's not an F-350. It's an F-superduty. And it's a truck that me personally, I like to call the daddy of the OBS trucks. And that's because this is the like highest payload rated, all that stuff, OBS truck that they made. And by OBS truck, I mean like OBS, cab, and front clip. Obviously, I know about the F650s, 750s, 800s, but this still looked like an OBS truck. So this is essentially the original F450, F550 is what this is. And I say that because this thing, if you pay attention, it actually has 10 lug nuts. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 lug nuts in an OBS. I know. It would have been super cool if they would have made these 19 and a half like the F450s. But, I mean, how cool is that? Now, I'm going to point out the obvious elephant in the room. And I know that a lot of you guys that know about this truck, you're like, that's not an F-superduty. You know, they never came with a pickup bed. You're right, they didn't. But this one had a pickup bed swapped onto it, and they actually did a great job with the swap. I think it looks really, really good, really clean. I've seen this done quite a few times, and usually they'll leave like a really nasty gap right here or stuff like that, or like the body lines don't align. This one's done very, very well. I actually really like how well it came out. The paint looks like they don't match. I don't know, maybe it was from a white truck that they took the bed from or something, but regardless, it came out really well. Like, it looks proper. It doesn't look hacked together or anything. They actually did a really good job. And I guess since we're talking about this, let's jump under the truck and see how they did it, because I know a lot of you guys want to do this swap. I know that if I ever find an F-superduty, it's something that I will most likely be doing, or maybe not, maybe a flatbed. Oh wow, so this was actually done very well. So this is how they actually attached the bed to the frame. It looks like they notched these cross members, and then they welded this tab to the frame, which the weld itself looks horrendous, not gonna lie. Actually, all of these welds don't look that great now that I look at it closely. But at least they actually sectioned the frame where they cut it. They actually took off quite a bit. So it's from here all the way to there. So they took off a chunk about that size and made it shorter. And then they added a couple of fish plates, I believe. But I mean, those welds could have been a little bit better, not gonna lie, you know. Same with all of those. But I mean, I guess the truck's, you know, here. So that's how they did the front. Oh, and then the rear, they have it attached like that. I guess while we're down here, let's talk about some of the differences in the frame. So this being a F-superduty, they were all cabin chassis, all without exceptions. They have super beefy shackle hangers and spring hangers that are bolted on apparently, not riveted. A pretty substantial leaf pack. Again, the front hanger, super beefy, looks like it's cast. Same with the rear. And then again with the front hanger, they're both the front and the rear look like they're cast, not stamped steel. And then they're bolted on, very, very beefy looking. And then these ones, they actually look like they use the same style as our new hangers, where they actually bolt to the bottom of the frame too, which again, this makes it a lot stronger. Now, most of the differences with this truck are actually going to be under the truck with its drivetrain. Because at least, as far as I know from the outside, the only difference is that, again, they're F-superduty, 10 lug wheels, they're all dualies, they're all cabin chassis. They never came with an actual bed like this from the factory. What else? I believe they were all two-wheel drive from the factory. Quigley and a few other companies did 4x4 swaps on these things. But from the factory, as far as I know, they were all two-wheel drive. Most of them were single cabs. I believe there are crew cab and extended cabs, but most of them were single cabs, at least most of the ones that I've seen. And again, these were supposed to be just the heavy duty work truck. These were, I believe they were all XLs or maybe some XLTs, but I believe for the most part they were all XLs, just work trucks. And I know that I'm probably wrong about that. But yeah, see this one? Crank windows. Let me go to the other side. So yeah, crank windows, XL. This does have some Super Duty seats in it. It is a manual. And I'll show you something else with that here in a little bit. But yeah, essentially that pretty much concludes all the changes from the outside. So now let's go underneath this truck, because that's where all the cool differences are. So we'll start from the front. All of these, like I said, are two-wheel drive. But these trucks, and kind of going back to, like, these are the original F450s. All the two-wheel drive trucks were solid beam trucks. So as you can see right there, it's a solid beam from side to side. It's a solid axle truck. Just like the new F450s, all the new F450s and 550s that are two-wheel drive, they're still a solid beam, just like what I have in my dually, which again is pretty cool. So this is more kind of like what you would see in a semi or like a heavy-duty truck, where it's an actual beam, as compared to the newer F450s where it's a tube. You know, it's a solid beam, two-wheel drive axle, but it's a tube, not a beam like this one. Yeah, pretty cool. It's still in leaves. This truck rides like an absolute wagon, which doesn't surprise me one single bit. But that's the first big difference up front. Now, if we move down the line, is where one of the most interesting differences are, and one that I think a lot of you guys are gonna like, and why there were so many companies that did four-wheel drive swaps on these things, because it's actually pretty easy, or at least I'm hoping that it'll be easy. Okay, a little bit of a bad angle, but all of these trucks actually came with the four-wheel drive transmission, even though they're two-wheel drive. And that's because they had the parking brake mounted where your transfer case would go. So if you want to swap one of these things over to four-wheel drive, you have to remove this parking brake and install your transfer case. So again, that is pretty cool. So as you can see there, that is where you would remove your parking brake and then install the transfer case. Now obviously you have to do all the linkage and stuff like that, but again, very cool. And this again, CF5. Another cool thing is that other than the bed, this truck is pretty much completely stock. Down from the Cobra downpipe to what looks like a cat and a muffler. It's all still there. This is a California truck, which is probably why it has what I believe is a cat. I don't know. And then again, the front leaf hangers, they're these super beefy cast hangers, and then of course these are riveted on. Why would they be bolted on? But anyways, let's keep moving down. Now the reason why you have your parking brake over there behind the transmission is because these trucks came with a completely different axle that doesn't have a parking brake in it, but it does have, and I don't know if we'll be able to see, it already has disc brakes. So this is a Dana 80, I believe, that these trucks came with. Or is it? Oh man, now I'm doubting it. I'll look this up and we'll put it on the video. But anyways, it comes with disc brakes already built into it, and then I believe these have a load sensing valve. So yeah, I believe it's that weird looking contraption right there, that the more load you put on it, the more pressure it sends to these calipers to help to assist more with braking. Which, now that we're talking about braking, let's talk about one of the last differences. And again, most of these differences are actually pretty big. So one of the most popular upgrades the guys like doing to the OBS truck, especially after you've done the axle swap, is actually going to a Hydro Boost setup. And most guys robbed those Hydro Boost setups from these trucks because they came from the factory with it already, and it's essentially a built-in deal to the OBS trucks, because it already has the right stud spacing on the actual Hydro Boost to go to their firewall. The only thing that I've heard a lot of guys have to do is move the actual pin that attaches the rod to your brake pedal. I think it's super cool that this truck already came with it. Like, it already has Hydro Boost. Like, how cool is that? At least I find it really cool. Under the hood, the truck is completely stock. Like, completely stock. Stock downpipe, stock turbo. it still has the original airbox in it. I mean, I'm pretty sure it probably has still stock injectors and everything in it. Like, the truck is, other than the bed, completely unmolested. And I believe it's actually low mileage. Let me see. 118,594,000 miles. Again, very low mileage truck. This is the lowest mileage OBS that I have personally seen. And again, it's so cool that we have this truck in here. So now that we have it here, let's talk about what we're going to be doing, because I believe that's all the differences. If I miss anything, definitely leave them down below. I guess the last one that we can talk about, and I don't think it has it on the door. Oh, look. I guess it got a new clutch in 2011. And what is that? Yeah. And then it got, every 5,000 miles, they did a fuel filter and an oil change. And they probably had something else over here. So that's cool. It was definitely a fleet truck at some point in its life, probably when it was brand new. Its GVWR or whatever is 11,000 pounds, which is quite a bit more than most of these trucks. So on my truck is 9,000 pounds. Okay, never mind. I was looking at the rear. So the actual GVWR is 15,000 pounds for this truck. Again, that's 6,000 pounds more than my truck, which is, it's quite a bit, not gonna lie. Let's see Bryce's truck. Bryce's truck is actually 9,200 pounds, which is, it's actually a little bit more than mine. So yeah, really cool. I guess that was the last difference that I know of. These trucks had the highest GVWR or whatever out of any OBS truck. Now, build plans. This truck is getting the axles from that truck. Which if it was me personally, I would have stuck with F450 axles to keep the 10 lug wheels, but that's just me. So this is gonna be quite a bit of an interesting swap, because again, the customer brought me the parts truck, so we got to take off the axles from that truck. We got to take these axles off and do the swap, and then I got to figure out a way to, the rear should be easy because they're both cabin chassis trucks, so that axle should bolt up pretty easy to that axle, but then I'm going to figure out a way to secure this axle onto that truck. And this is going to be just so they can drive it onto a trailer. It's not to swap that truck. That truck's getting scrapped after we're done with the swap, so I just gotta help my customer be able to drive or pull that truck onto a trailer because it doesn't run. So that's going to be the first interesting thing that we got to do. But as far as build plans for these trucks, it's getting pretty much our full catalog. It's getting our kit, it's getting our cross member, it's getting our radius arms. We're not doing the rear because, again, this is a cabin chassis, so our kit wouldn't bolt up to this truck. And we're going to be doing a 2 to 3 inch lift on this thing, which should give us enough clearance to run 35s on it, which I think is going to be super cool having this, like this shorty. It's single cab dually on 35s. Like, how freaking cool is that? Oh, and then we are going to be throwing this transfer case on the transmission to make it 4-wheel drive. I get this question asked a lot. We're not set up to do 4-wheel drive swaps at the transmission. That's because most transmissions, you gotta pull them, take them apart, switch the tail housing, the input shaft, the output shaft, to be able to mate a transfer case to it. This thing is already a 4-wheel drive transmission, so I'm hoping, we haven't done this yet, but I'm hoping that it should be fairly easy to take that parking brake off and throw the transfer case on it. So we'll see. Like, again, I'm hoping that it should be pretty bolt-in deal, but we'll obviously document all of that and show you guys how to do it. But again, what do you guys think? I like, again, total bucket list truck for me. I would love to find this truck, but in an F350, so like an actual original single cab dually bed truck. And then my bucket list F-superduty would actually be a crew cab. One of the hardest OBS trucks to find. If I'm being completely honest, I don't even know if they came that way from the factory, crew cabs. But I would love to have a crew cab F-superduty to do the dually bed swap on it, or a really nice flatbed, and then do the same thing that we did with my dually, which is swap F450 axles on it. But just like Pokemon, I'm trying to collect them all. That's the goal. Super excited about this build. The next video is probably going to be on Bryce's truck. I just really wanted to walk around to this truck because I personally think is really cool. And it's something that I didn't know about this until, I don't know, like 5-6 years ago, that there was an F-superduty. Actually, no, longer than that, because I've had this channel for longer than that, and I've known about the F-superduty since I've had the channel. But again, Very late in life that I know that there was an F-superduty. And I know that a lot of you guys might not know that, so I think it'd be pretty cool showing you guys what this truck is, completely stock, before we tear it apart. Honestly, we're gonna be taking a lot of the stuff off that makes this an F-superduty, which I'm totally fine with. I get a lot of hate when I do stuff like that, like when I took the bumpers off the Centurion truck and the wood trim from the inside. I got so much hate from that. But I personally really didn't like it. Didn't like the bumper, didn't like the wood, and I know that's what makes it a Centurion. But to me, I loved it because of the paint job that it has. We kept the visor because I do like the visor, and then the racer back or whatever goes on the back of it, we'll be getting put back on it once we paint it. And we're gonna paint it. And we're gonna keep that color scheme because again, I actually really like it. But it'll be painted with modern colors, still the greens, the tans, the browns, but more modern. That being said, again, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you liked this video. The next few months, few weeks, month or so, we're gonna be super busy because we've got this swap, which is honestly technically 2 swaps in one, because we gotta swap that truck and this truck. We gotta swap axles on them. We're gonna do this full build, do the transfer case. Between all that, we got to work on Bryce's truck, which again, I already have a pretty good plan for this truck. So next video is going to be all about this truck. And then who knows when we'll work on my trucks again. I've got some plans. But anyways, guys, again, thank you for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you for the next one. Thanks, guys.